So then, ladies and gents, it is Friday evening. I'm absolutely exhausted, so forgive me if this isn't the most eloquent or professional unboxing, but I have just had this model arrive, and I'm quite excited to check it out, so I'm going to be unboxing it now. So just let me set the scene for you, because this was not your normal sort of model buying. I was scrolling through eBay a couple of days ago, and I got a notification up about a certain model which eBay thought that I might like. I took a look at it, and with about 8 to 10 hours left to go, I thought, yeah, why not? I'll add £1 to the existing bid onto that, thinking that it was going to absolutely run away and that I could enjoy, in the final couple of minutes, watching the price run away to something that I absolutely wouldn't pay. But it turns out that it is in my hands, and this is exactly what happens when you make a bid, you completely forget about it, and then you get that all too familiar eBay notification sound to tell you that you've won the thing. And so yes, here it is in my hands. Now in total I paid around £35 for this. I think the winning bid was £31 on the model, and then it was about a fiver shipping, so bringing it up to sort of £36-ish. And yeah, I'm going to be unboxing it. Now this is a model that, to be honest, I'm really excited to have at Will Scarlett International. I hadn't particularly looked at, the routes which I could set up with this, but having thought about it and, having had it delivered, obviously I could have still pulled out of the auction, but actually I decided not to, because this is a really interesting model, and the registration is really quite unusual. So as you can see, it is in a nice bubble wrap case. And I do really love these small Gemini Jets boxes, actually. You can see we've got a couple more over there. I'm really getting into my regional aircraft. I think it's because, because I'm doing Will Scarlett International, and because, I really love regional airports. My local airport's Southampton. Yeah, it's just, I think it's quite a cool section of our hobby which isn't necessarily explored enough. And here we are. So as you can see, we have a Gemini Jets LoganAir Saab 340B, but the interesting thing about this model is it is in an Estonian registration number. So as you can see there, it says ES. Now normally you would see these LoganAir Saabs and they would have the registration beginning with Golf and then the dash, and that is the British or sort of UK registration code. But interestingly enough, this is in the Estonian registration, which is, it's something different, and this model looks, I was expecting it to sort of be used, to be honest, but obviously not, from eBay. I think it did say it was used on the listing, but I have to say the box is in excellent condition. It looks brilliant inside. Take a look at that down there. Very small little thing, but yeah, let's take a look. And here we are. So then, the Saab 340B. Now this is a aircraft, wow, it is so tiny. Look at it. Absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to reset the camera quickly because there's not much point in you seeing me just sort of pick it up and have a look at it, really. So yeah, I'll reset the camera and we'll be back in a second. So then, take a look at this model. Now this is, I think I've actually got a really, really good deal here. So I've just looked on the aircraft model store. Now these are still in stock if you would like to pick one up yourself. I'm going to leave it in the link down in the description below. And the asking price from AMS is £44, and that is without shipping. So I think I've got an incredibly good deal here, buying it for £35 including shipping, so actually only about 30 quid for the model. I think that is incredibly good value, and I have to say I'm very impressed with this model. Now I don't think I'm going to do sort of like a full review format, but I am going to take you through some of the things I do particularly like about it. Now you'll notice that this is sort of quite unusual if you do know the LoganAir aircraft quite well. Now normally they would have red engines like you can see on this reference photo here, but as this is the Estonian registered one, for some reason this has white engines, and it does leave it as sort of quite a simplistic livery really, but I really do like that. And the design with the tartan pattern on the tail I just think is really beautiful bit of design, and I'm really, really happy to have this model in my collection. Now, something strange, it does seem as though the props on this model are static. Now, if I just grab my Flybe-8 Q400 quickly, which the review hasn't yet come out, but you can see that if I do it with the pencil, these props do in fact move, and that is a nice feature. But I think the main reason they do that is to stop the props being so brittle that, you know, that they snap off when the model is being held, because these are very small, very thin pieces. Now, it does make me a little bit curious as to why these props aren't sort of, you know, why they aren't free moving. Now, it does appear as though the props are part of this front silver section, which you can see here, which are sort of I suppose you would say, the prop caps. Obviously, you're seeing sort of much closer images than I am, so I could very well be wrong about this, but it does seem as though it's sort of all one piece with the engines, instead of having the main body of the prop and then the actual propeller blade, and then with sort of like the front of the propeller blade as sort of like a pin that goes through. Doesn't seem as though that's the case with this model, so I do wonder why they didn't just make them free turning. It's not necessarily a problem, but it does make it sort of it makes me a little bit more wary about handling this model, knowing that, you know, it's fairly likely possibility that if not treated carefully, that it could quite possibly snap off. And my only other small little thing about this model is that the sort of front nose set of landing gear, I mean, you know, I get that it's a very, very small piece, right? It's not really a problem, but I suppose it could have been a little bit more fine-scaled. It does look sort of slightly chunky, and I suppose in a way it does sort of throw off the sense of scale, possibly. But to be honest, I'm not going to hold Gemini Jets to it, because actually this is a really good model. And really, that's all I've got to say about it. I'm really excited to have this in the collection. It's something which hasn't been seen at Will Scarlett International, and I'm sure is going to become a familiar sight here in the coming months. So do look out for it in the next airport update, but for now, let's get back to the video.
So goodbye for us. You have to say it, baby. And us in Texas, you wanna try, baby.